everyone. Melanie almost just stole my thunder. I saw it in her eyes. Welcome to Of the Publishing Persuasion. I'm Angela Montoya, and I am here with Melanie Schubert. Schubert, Schubert.
But it's on the screen, you little cheater.
But I wasn't looking this time, okay?
That's
I
true.
wasn't looking.
I did see.
My eyes are up.
Yeah, they were, but that might have been a clever tactic.
It wasn't. It was pure intentions. I know how to spell Melanie Schubert's name. Unless you see her name in Sinner's Isle, then you will say that I don't because it was misspelled. But anyways, I'm here with Melanie Schubert. Melanie, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm cracking up at the Santa behind your head because of what we're reading right now.
I gotta tell you, Melanie. I gotta tell you. And I haven't, have you finished the book?
Not yet.
Okay, good. Me neither, but I cannot look at Santa Claus the
No,
same ever again.
ever. I'm gonna have
Never.
problems in shopping centers now when I see him sitting on his throne. It's gonna
You'll be
just
like, I
be
know.
wrong.
Yeah, Melanie and I were doing a buddy read of Santa Claus is it going or coming?
Santa Claus is going to town on me. Um, Thank you, readers, for voting for this as our tome of choice for our spicy Christmas special. We appreciate you.
You
Um,
have no idea. You have no idea.
I cannot, like, the way I'm struggling to think of anything other than how much I want to talk about this, but we're gonna have to wait until
Gonna
our
have to
special
wait.
episode. Um, Yeah, readers, I mean, join in for the read along if you want, because we won't be recording. Well, even when we record, we'll aim to drop this around Christmas. I want to get
Honestly,
her
though, it's
on.
good.
It's good. It's
It's
better
really good.
it's better than most books on the shelf, you know?
Yes,
And I mean all
yes.
books. I would love to get Marie Lipscomb writing as ML Eliza on the pod. Um,
Yes, I just
so
followed her actually because I
good
was so
girl.
impressed.
I
I was
knew.
so impressed. It's good. I mean, granted, it's hard to get over that we're talking about Santa Claus, okay? And I have questions, but I'm gonna wait until I finish the book
Yes.
because, I have questions, but again, I'm gonna hold off because maybe my questions will be answered.
I trust her
Um,
to answer them.
you know what? Her writing is that great. Like I was in. I was like, yes.
Yeah. I'm
But
so glad
then
you
there,
felt the
yeah.
same because when I started reading, I was like, hmm. I was like, I don't know if I just haven't read much this year or if I'm just like was feeling thirsty for this type of book. I was like, but this feels like it's really well written, you know?
It is. It
It's
is.
disarming because
Well,
the cover is so, but like the cover is on point for the
the
genre.
cover, it's totally 100%. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to see if we can't get her on sometime and
Please
just
get her on.
shower her with our
Presents
praise.
from our sack.
Oh, I kind of love that. Gifts from my sack. No, that's not a good one. I've just been thinking of lots of like fun names for, potential like Christmas titles, and there's so many fun, terrible names you can go with.
So many.
But yeah.
But yes, we've got to get her
Yeah.
on. And yeah, our energy is obviously all big and juicy because we just had on, sorry for that choice of word. We just had on like a power guest. Like I just everything that came out of her mouth, I was just like, thank you. Thank you for saying that aloud. Was very healing to hear a lot of what she had to say.
Oh my gosh. And I could see it in your face. I could see it on my face on the screen. We were both nodding so, so hard.
Mm.
Because truly, and obviously listeners, you'll hear the interview later.
Yeah.
Stick around for Melanie and I to bullshit first. But like a lot of what she was saying was like when you become an author, it's basically like you have to change your mindset of like this is a business. I'm writing, but I also have to do the other work too, which is finding community and networking and doing the business things, which sometimes is social media too. And so, yeah, all the things she had to say was so valuable and a good reminder of like, okay,
Mm.
we're doing all right. We're doing the work.
Yes. Such a good reminder. And like, I think that, like, I know that we're both hard on ourselves about that. And I think the more that we give ourselves permission to call that part of our job description, like this, what we're doing now, or even like, I was trying to think, like, I've had to say no to a bunch of, or I've chosen to say no to a bunch of shit this week because my cup's kind of full and I didn't want to feel I wanted to have the energy to do what I've already planned. And part of that is reading a slutty Santa book, right? Like it's really hard to like when she was talking about like family and friends, like not like being like, well, when's your book on the shelf? And it's like, well, actually today's work towards my career is reading a slutty Santa book with my friend. Like it's so hard to explain like why that's important, why it matters, but like it is also part of our job now. And like it is a balance between um knowing just like giving yourself that permission that this is important too. And even just for the sake of
Yes.
like unplugging from the seriousness of the business side and like I think because it's a creative field, you need to have that fun side. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it. Might
Mm-hmm.
as well do
Mm-hmm.
any job if you're gonna like just be miserable the whole time. You know?
Yes. Oh my God, that's so real though. Because like you literally could go be miserable at a job and
Yeah,
probably make more money.
way more money.
Way more
Way
money.
more money.
Yeah. And be miserable. So why not just go do that? I love that. Yeah. So like if we're gonna be doing this, like doing this creative thing that for many, many people, you're not getting paid what you could get paid for
Yeah,
at a 9 to 5. Why not do it and have fun and have a
yeah.
blast and live joyfully? Obviously it's not again, it's never gonna always be like that. There's always
Yeah.
hard times, but we don't have to make it harder on ourselves. Like we can
Yes.
find ways to have joy. And if it's reading a slutty little Santa book, like, yes, that's a good
Yeah.
job to have. Like
It's a
if
great
part of
job.
your job is reading about Santa doing 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 things doing things to a woman that he
So
just
many
met.
things.
So many things. If that's part of the job,
She
it's pretty
wanted
good.
it though. Let's not forget
He
she
did.
wanted it.
Oh, and he knew because
He knew.
he knows what you're thinking.
Because he sees you when you're sleeping. He
He
knows when
knows
you're awake.
he
He
knows
knows.
if you've been bad or good. And he says, "Yes, you've been bad, baby."
You've been bad. You've been so bad. Ah, we can't wait to discuss it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna segue us away from it because we can't help
Okay.
ourselves and just say fucking congratulations. Big fucking congratulations, Miss Kirkus, best YA books of the year.
Yeah. What the hell? And shout out Jill too was on there as well. Jill too.
Yes, Jill
Um,
too. Jill
Yes,
too was on there
Queen
too.
too. Yeah, no, how fun is that?
Fun. It's fucking glorious. And oh, well, how does it make you feel, first of all? And second of all, have you taken a moment to like properly let it sink in, like how much you've achieved, where you are right now? Have you like I'm
Yeah.
have you celebrated like how fucking much you've done to be here and like what this is a big, huge achievement. Like this is major. Kirkus is
Yeah.
like not nothing. Everybody knows Kirkus.
Yeah.
And you are one of their best YA authors. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know if I've taken the time to let it like sink in
hmm,
and like accept it. I think that's the hardest part is being like, oh, maybe they just like slid me in there for some reason. Like it's a constant like battle of telling your brain like, no, they're not just like being nice to you. They don't owe you anything. They don't
no,
even know you. So yeah, it wasn't like a special treatment like, oh, oh, we love Angela. They don't know me. So yeah, that was great. And I think also Amazon was another one that really shocked the shit out of me because I did not expect that at all. I just like clicked on A Cruel Thirst on Amazon because I like to see like where she's at in her little
yes,
rankings, and it popped up like editor's pick, best
yes,
YA for December. And I was like, "What?" And so I refreshed it automatically because it shows this little gray tab,
oh
editor's
my
pick.
gosh, yeah.
And so I refreshed it and I was like, oh, it's gonna go away. I know it. And it was still there. And I was like, okay. And I don't know why that one of all the things was like, wow. Like,
Because
because
of what you
again,
said, because the imposter syndrome in our brains tells us other stuff might be because of XYZ. I'm sad that we're all wired that way, but I can sympathize with that deeply. But Amazon is this big fucking monster. They don't give a fuck about you. Like really.
right.
So if you're their pick, it's
Yeah.
like why I can totally see why that is like mind blowing. It is mind
Yeah.
blowing. They owe you
I don't
nothing.
know why that one. They don't know me. They
No.
owe me nothing. And I don't know why that one in particular like really hit me. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And every time I pop up Amazon, because again, I like to see where A Cruel Thirst is at. And it's still there. They haven't, I don't know, it's there. So it wasn't a fluke.
Glorious.
It's there. And so yeah, to know that A Cruel Thirst is like
Mm,
being seen is
yeah.
so fun. It's really really cool that people are like enjoying this book and fuck. It's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah, fuck. But I think and also like to go back to like what Jessica was saying in our interview was just like when you finally like let allow yourself to be whoever you are,
Mm,
that is really when the magic happens.
yeah.
And I feel like Sinner's Isle, I was, trying so hard to be an author and I was like trying to get it right. And I
Yeah.
was trying to like, you know, I don't know, I was trying to be like this maybe more serious than what I maybe naturally am.
Mm,
And so when I finally let go and just was like, I really love kind of this like rom-com feel in a fantasy world. And when
yes.
I like accepted that and went into it, the difference has shown with
Mm,
The Cruel Thirst, like in the things that I've been hearing. So really and truly, like, don't hold back your writing because you feel like, oh, this is what people are wanting. Do what the ever the hell you feel like is you.
mm,
And it'll make for a better outcome. So
yeah.
yeah, like and so here I am getting, editor's pick for Amazon and then one of the best ways for Kirkus. And it's really because I let myself like be be
Yeah.
free. And so it's amazing, really and truly.
Yeah, and you're funny. Like, I love so much that you're letting that humor out of the bag into your work because you are naturally just hilarious. So the people need to know.
They
But
need to
yeah,
know.
I hope you take a moment to just like, I don't know, be proud of yourself and like sit with it and just because I think like it's so, and I have to remind myself all the time, like to like pause and like take it in because you've been working so hard. I just want you to be able to like soak up this moment now because you fucking earned it, you know? Like this is your moment to soak it in and just be like, wow, look at what I did.
Yes, I love that. I really, no, you're right. I do need to
Mm,
because we're in this industry where it's like, okay, well, on to the next thing.
yeah.
So like I've been working on the next thing, but really and truly I should probably just take a few days or whatever
Yes.
just to celebrate and chill out and read my sexy Santa book and all of those things.
You could take
Um,
a week or two
yeah.
and the world would still wind
We'll be
on.
fine. We'll be
Yes.
fine. It's true. It's true. And you know what? One of the things, and as I was, because I've been trying to walk more because and do a
Yeah.
little exercising, eat a little better because I have high cholesterol.
Oh no.
So,
Oh shit.
side note, high cholesterol.
I
So
should probably get mine checked. Fuck.
yeah, honestly, like I don't eat the best because we're always so busy and so we're just like scrambling for food or whatever. And then I sit so much. And so bitch has high cholesterol. And my dumbass, like I
Sorry for
said it out.
laughing.
I know, no, it's fine. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. But I said it out loud and then Alicia heard, my daughter heard. And as soon as she heard it, she was on my ass. Like she was like
Oh, bless.
online, looking at all the things that you should and shouldn't be doing, all the like the risks and the symptoms and all this stuff. And so she was like, "You're done." Like she was basically like, "You're done, bitch. Like I'm on you."
Oh,
And so I've been walking, and watching my food because of Alicia. Thank you, Alicia Marie. But
well,
anyway, as I
yeah.
was walking, I was listening to like my little classical music that I've been listening to, and it like makes me feel like I'm floating on air because it's just like la, la, la.
I love.
And yeah, but I started thinking like, and I don't remember who I heard talk about this, and it might have been even us because we're so smart, but like how we're always like raising the goalposts and
Mm,
like you're always like getting to the like oh I want to get to the next thing and the next thing. But you really and truly do need to stop and celebrate like making that marker and
yeah.
like getting to that goal. But also like there's so much joy and excitement in trying to get to the next thing
Mm,
too. And so I think there's a balance of like
yeah.
celebrating getting it and like and breathing it in and be like, oh, I got here.
Mm,
But then also there's like this acceptance of like, okay, well, now what's next? And that part's fun too. And
you're right.
so it's like all kind of fun.
Mm. I actually love that. You're right. It's important to do both. And I think maybe we lean to one more heavily. And that's why I'm trying to remind us both.
Hmm. It's true. It's very true.
Because I know when Para was here, she was like, have you like she's like, have you actually like taken the time to celebrate that you got an agent? Like properly? And I was
Right.
like, probably, I don't know, like we did it in a lot of small ways, but I think maybe I'm more like you, where like at at a point, like, yeah, I did celebrate it and it's a constant celebration, but maybe part of the way we celebrate is by honoring that achievement by being like, well, let's go now. Like that's part of the business side of things as well. So I love that. That's the balance that I guess it's a constant it's a constant push and pull. It's a constant like trim that back, add this, less of this, more of this. Maybe it's just like the art of balancing that all that makes it feel not even just feel fulfilling, but like makes it sustainable or something. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Sustainable. That's a good word. That's a really good word,
Mm,
actually. Because, yeah, if you're pushing yourself too hard one way or the other, you're going to feel that tug. And,
yeah.
and even with social media, all of it, like when it becomes where you're like, oh, I'm feeling this burnout is coming,
Mm,
stop. Stop what you're doing and get away. Because, like
yes.
you just said, everything will is still going to be there when you come back.
That's it. And I don't want to scare people, but also as somebody who has experienced like a severe nervous breakdown, I just want to implore people to look after them. Like you said, when you feel that, when you start to feel that crispy edge to like the bad crispy edge to your day, and the sleep is getting like ultra sacrificed, and you just feel this like in how he says in Lord of the Rings, like I feel like butter spread too thin, right? That's such a good example when you're burning out. Don't ignore that. And I know people will be like, oh, but like you've just got to get on with it, right? Like, and people are amazing at ignoring symptoms in their body. I know because I did it.
High
Amazing.
cholesterol.
And you can feel it, right? You can feel it in your body.
Yeah.
Something's not right. But because of fucking society that messed us all up, like we just continue on. But the reason I say, like, I don't want to scare people, but one day your body will just say no, and you will not be able to get up and keep going. And that's what I've experienced. And I think I can't say it enough because I never want anyone to have to experience that day when you cannot push through, right? And you shouldn't have
Mm.
to feel like you're constantly pushing through. So I'm just taking another moment, especially around this time of year. Everyone's feeling a
Right?
little crispy, a little more thinly spread. And just say no. Say no to things. Like if it's too much, don't go. If it's overwhelming, hide in your cave a bit, like do whatever is within your reach to nourish yourself, because yeah, the body has those are like the warning notes your body gives you, and if you're consistent, it's like we all have weeks or months where it gets a bit crispy. But sorry for sticking with that example.
I love that word. I
It just, you know what
personally,
I mean? When you feel like
yes.
your nerves are just that bit, if like frayed.
Yeah.
And we all go through periods like that. But if you are consistently, there is no escape. Your sleep is never consistent. Like you're getting like when I was like my most sick, like I would just like, and I didn't even know I had like anxiety issues. I didn't know I was just fucking running on adrenaline and cortisol. I think I fully burnt out my adrenal gland. And that's why I was so fucked up after. And I was
Damn.
on night shift and I would like come home from my shift sometimes at like 9 in the morning, and I would need to go to sleep because you're tired. And sometimes there'd be this like little sliver of sunlight where I'd just like sit out in the stairwell and try catch sun for like half an hour after waking, because I'd wake up at like 5, 6 p.m. It was wild. It was terrible. I don't advise night shift. But
Right? I've heard. Yeah.
yeah, but during that time, I don't even know if I was getting an hour of sleep a night. And
Wow.
even to get that hour, I would have to have a good stiff drink, which was not ideal. Really,
Right.
really
Yeah.
not ideal. So anyway, look after your one precious body. Don't wait for someone to like, don't wait for it to like not do the thing. Look after it now, especially this time of year. Everyone's stressed, everyone's wired. Just give yourself more grace and more permission to do nothing because it's not something you have to earn, right? It's like a
Period.
human need, a human right. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I
Yes.
she got all spicy and tangenty.
No, but it's so freaking important. And like,
Mm,
again, talking about sustainability, how are you planning on writing, on selling books if you are not there? Like, if you are dragging and you're not
yeah.
sleeping and you're not taking care of yourself, it's not going to happen. Like,
Yeah. How can
I
you
think
do
so
your
much of,
best work if you're not
yeah.
sleeping?
Right? Oh my God. It's so hard when you're so
Yeah.
exhausted. And
Yeah.
truly, it's hit you saying that is hitting because this last couple weeks I've had a hard time. Not couple weeks, but this last week in particular, I've been having so many nightmares about
Oh,
just everything. And I
yeah.
think it's all stemming just from the nerves and maybe excitement of, launch is
Yeah.
coming. Um, I did have a really nice dream though that Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creator of Hamilton, I had a dream he
Yes.
read A Cruel Thirst and he was like, Angela. Sorry, I was gonna try and do his
No, please,
impression.
please do it. I'm living for it.
When have you seen Hamilton?
No, but I
Okay.
really want to.
Well, we always, because he has a certain voice, and he's always like, Eliza.
I'm sure it's a perfect rendition, and I can't tell you otherwise.
I, yeah, if anybody's listened to Hamilton, and you'll know, he goes, Eliza.
Actually, you know
Anyway,
Tobias Madden? His partner
yes.
is in Hamilton, right? That's what they moved. I don't know if that's why they moved to the States, but I know he was doing that show, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's a
Yeah.
he's a baddie. Anyway, so I had a dream that Lin-Manuel Miranda read A Cruel Thirst and he was like, "Hey, listen, babe." He would never say that, but he said, "Hey, listen, babe. Let's make it a musical." And I said, "Yes. Yes, Lynn."
Were you
Um,
starring in the musical as well in your dream? You were, weren't you?
no, no, I was not. But I wouldn't be mad if I was.
Yeah, because you can sing
Put me
and
on the
dance
show.
from back
Yeah.
in your ministry days.
Yeah. Put me in, Lynn. Put me in.
Let's manifest that. And
Yeah,
I will
it's
fly
happening.
over. I will fly over for the show and we will watch the, what do you call it? The screen, the first, I don't know what you call it, the
Yeah.
debut screening or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Whatever the hell it's called. Yeah. Only if Lin-Manuel plays Lotlo. Sorry.
Is that a
Uh,
special request to the manifestation gods?
yeah. Yes, because Lin-Manuel, he's special. He's
Yeah.
got that voice, and if he can be Lalo. Just
Aw.
kidding.
Would he?
I'm kidding.
Oh,
No,
no. I
no,
was gonna say it's not feeling the vibe.
no.
I feel like
I think it's just
Lalo,
like such an inside joke because Lin-Manuel's voice, like, he's so talented, but
it's very
he's not the
iconic.
best singer.
I
Yeah.
see. I'm gonna have to look it up after so I'm in on the joke.
Yes. Yes, you have to.
Also, I'm like cannot wait for my copy of A Cruel Thirst to arrive because I have plans.
Yes.
I have
I can't wait.
plans for it. That's
Hopefully,
all I'll
hopefully the
say.
post does not do us
I
dirty.
know. If the post does us dirty, it will be a launch week surprise.
Yeah, yes. Fingers
Post
crossed it's gonna get
post
there.
launch.
Yeah, yeah,
It might
post-launch
not be
event.
pre-launch, it'll be post-launch, post-launch surprise. So stay
Yeah,
tuned.
I'm pumped. Well, so how are you doing today? You were
Yeah,
working a little
good.
bit on your anthology piece?
Yes, that sigh is like a sigh of relief because I don't know if that I was putting it off, but I think because I was so in the headspace of Beyond Love and revisions, um, I was finding it hard to shift from, magical hotel vibe to writing like a horror about a stolen brain.
Yeah.
And I think the thing when I started yesterday and I'm about almost 2,000 words in, which is great for an
Wow.
anthology. That's like, we're like a third of the way through or whatever. Um, so yeah, or maybe even halfway through, depends how long I make it. Um, but it was wild because I think when I got to this week and I realized, oh, because Sandra got me my revision back. And it was
Yes.
probably so yeah. It's just light revisions now. So
Yes.
January is looking very good. It's very hard to not put my whole focus on that right now, but I'm actually gonna let that sit for this week. I've decided because I'm not very good at splitting my brain between two projects. I'd prefer to do one thing and then the next thing. Um, so yeah, my plan is this week to bust out a draft for the anthology piece and then let that sit while I do my hopefully final pass
Amazing.
before
Yes.
submission. Yeah. So that's the basic plan. At least, so yeah, like I feel it's been a busy week, but like exciting. Like I feel busier than I've maybe ever been. But it's all with stuff that like is really exciting. So
Yes. Yeah. How are you feeling about like the last little revisions? Is it just
I
mostly like
haven't
getting
fully
rid
looked.
of
I think it's
okay.
mostly I haven't had a close look, but from her email, it's mostly like apparently I need to get rid of a bunch of ellipses. And I need to do a search, Control F for the word just, which I know
Yeah.
I use a lot, a lot, a lot.
Yeah. Something about that word, it just adds a little razzle dazzle.
Yeah, 100%.
It
So
does.
I'll have to do that. But yeah, I'm sitting on my hands for now just because I think I'm very much if I try, I'll be like, it's fine, I can do all of it. And then I'll do
Right.
nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that
Yeah.
that's thank fuck I don't have to do the script for Gobsmacked because it would have been too much.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
She
Oh
would
my
have been
gosh.
her brain would have been melting down.
It's been quite a bit.
But no, it's good. I'm just like taking my time and that's why I'm saying no to like cert. Although I've got Katya and Claire coming on Thursday, so that'll be cool. Remember Claire Lowe, who did the last
Yeah.
anthology? Yeah, she's coming to Melbourne,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have a little dinner together. But yeah, other than that, I'm just like trying to block everything out.
Look at you, social butterfly.
Oh,
She's
it's
writing, she's socializing.
it's very new. It's very new. But I think like that's the thing we keep saying with our bookish community. I'm like, yeah, you find the mental space to be like, no, I wanna. But I was very much like, so let's do a short dinner. I'm like, you can come here, but let's just make it like a quick 2 hour thing because we're all busy and like, yeah, it felt good as well to just verbalize that because I think sometimes when you invite people over, you can feel like you just have to let them stay.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I was like, no, let's, my husband has to be up for work at like 4 a.m. and we're doing it on a Thursday night. I was like, so let's say like 7 till 9. Come have pizza,
yeah.
we'll take some cute photos and then fuck off.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Yes. And then fuck off, please.
Yeah,
'Cause I need that. Yeah, that's brilliant. How fun.
I had something I really wanted to say and I have lost it completely. Dang it.
Well, I know you mentioned you wanted, but I don't know if you want to do that talk when we're talking
No,
about the
when we
book.
talk about the book, I'll save it for
Okay.
then. But good
Yeah.
memory. But I am very seriously thinking about printing that special dust jacket that I made for a cruel thirst.
I think yes. I mean, it looks
The
good. I
people
mean,
need it.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty close to the original. I mean, you,
Gabriel Torres said he would pay real money for that. And that he needs it. So maybe I
yeah,
just
yeah.
need to do it and yeah, I'll look into it. I'll look into it because I certainly need it. Obviously, it
At
would help
least
my
put us on a
finalist
shirt.
on a shirt would be glorious. Maybe that needs to happen. We got to thank the Canva gods for allowing that level of profanity to exist.
Yes,
If you
yes,
haven't seen it,
100%.
listeners, it's mine and Angela's faces very badly, very, very
No.
badly pasted on the
Oh
cover of A
no.
Cruel Thirst. Did you like what I
Perfect.
did with your Lalo hair?
Yeah, it was perfect. It was not badly. It was perfectly done. It was so good.
Just don't zoom in too close. Shall we read the
That makes
bio
it better. Yeah.
before we
That
forget?
makes it better to me though.
That's what
Like
I
when it's like,
thought. I
yeah.
was like, if it's too good, it's not going to be funny. Then we should have done the like a full modeling session. But I was like, let's just use the images we have and see what magic we can make happen.
And you made magic. You
Thank
really
you.
did.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Do you have the bio?
I do. I do. I'm
It's your
ready.
it's your turn.
It's
It's
my
it's
turn.
your turn.
Jessica Berg is a literary agent and the founder of Rosecliff Literary. With a master's in fiction from Spalding University and over a decade of experience as a developmental editor, Jessica brings a nuanced understanding of storytelling to her clients. At Rosecliff Literary, she focuses on essential elements such as structure, character development, pacing, and thematic depth, ensuring each manuscript realizes its full potential. Beyond her agency work, Jessica regularly conducts classes and workshops, providing personalized coaching sessions designed to empower writers with the skills and confidence needed to succeed. No, that's not it. Needed for success. Her approach is grounded in a deep appreciation for contemporary fiction and a commitment to fostering the next generation of literary talent. The end.
Glorious.
Hmm.
Did I see that it was a big long bio and conveniently not have it? It is a long one.
Yes.
Well,
Yes. It's a good one. It's a
is
good
there
one.
anything we missed about that you want to say about A Cruel Thirst? So you've got your launches coming up December
I do.
17 with the Sandra Proudman,
The Sandra
Gloria,
Proudman. Yes, the amazing Sandra Proudman.
and Haley Dennings on
Uh-huh. The next day.
the next day. I was close.
Yes. Yeah. And then I'll be doing a bunch of like on IG lives with
Yeah,
different friends. I think I'm doing one. I'm doing, I don't know, a bunch. So
yeah,
yeah, so you'll be seeing me around. I'll be
yeah.
live next week doing the thing. Yeah, we're heading into launch week, baby.
Launch week, baby. Well, let me know if you want to do anything with the pod, or we could just do it as we go, the way we have been. And maybe when things
Yeah.
quiet down, we can do like we'll just catch up along the way. But if you want to use it as, you let me know if you have like blank spaces and you want to do lives on the pod, or if you want to do a separate recording, or if you don't, you
Yeah.
don't. Like either way, I'm so sweet. Use the resource
Yes.
as you want. If it's good, we use it. If not, you've got a lot
We
on your
don't.
plate already, and
Yeah.
we'll just hype you up every intro.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely do our Santa
Yeah, yeah.
buddy read. And then maybe like before the end of the year, let's get together and
Yeah.
chat about our dreams and goals and what we're
I love that.
manifesting for 2025. Big things ahead for everyone.
That was beautiful. It's going to cut us off any second, so I feel like that was the perfect place. Thank you for that
Yeah.
blessing. This has been such a like soul nourishing episode.
Yeah, it's been a fun one.
Yeah, she
She
seemed like
brought
she's
it.
gonna go places. Like
I
that is
think
some
so.
big cloaca energy that she is swinging.
She's so Sandra Proudman, Jessica Para code. Like she is their
Right?
child.
That's I was
Yes,
just like
that's
the
so
energy
perfect.
of her soul is literally if Sandra Proudman and Jessica Power had a baby together. Like a genetical.
If only. Hey,
Hello.
hello. I was just looking for the questions. There they are.
Good choice. I love how we just sing everything to each other. I don't know why I do it with a lot of shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got the questions as well. Like as if we couldn't have memorized them by now, but I
right.
literally go blank once our guest gets on.
Yeah. Well, and this is different because this is an agent, and so they're
But
different
we're both
questions.
agented authors now, so we shouldn't be too nervous, you know?
Hell no. Hell no. Are
All
you
right.
feeling nervous?
No, I feel
I
good.
know. I love that for us.
I love that for us too. I used to get really nervous. I mean, I still have general anxiety nerves, but
Sure.
not the oh my God, it's an agent nerves.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let her in.
Okay. Oh, I better put on my do not disturb. Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, hi.
Hello. How are you?
I am doing great. I love this kind of event, so I'm really excited to get chatting.
Amazing. Yeah, we're super, super excited, honestly, to have you on. We love having agents on. Our listeners love us when we have agents on. So these are always our favorite sort of shows. I mean, we love all our
So,
shows, but
of course. Well, this sounds like a win then, for sure, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
great.
Well, we're so excited to get to know you more, so maybe we'll just start at the beginning and can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. So I am a literary agent. I'm the founder of Rosecliff Literary. I have a long history of being a developmental editor. I have an MFA, so I'm also an author. right? And so one of the things that was really important to me in founding Rosecliff was to build lasting relationships with authors and help them go from being writers to being authors. And I think that that's a really important distinction. Um, Aside from that, I'm super obsessed with narrative and the craft of story, like why story works the way it does. So I spend a lot of my free time thinking about that. But then outside of the work, I'm either like in the gym, I'm building a vintage cookbook collection right now, or I'm reading,
Mhm.
right? So I feel like I'm kind of basic in that way. Like these are
Yeah.
typical things that we might experience as an author or as an agent.
Yeah, no, that is not basic. You're collecting vintage cookbooks. I think that's pretty awesome.
Thank
So
you.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And I'm actually fascinated with reels about really bad, like antique or vintage recipes. Do you have one that you've just seen that's just been like, oh my God, this is wretched?
You know, anytime we're combining Jello with something savory, I have some questions. Like we have a lot of follow-on questions, right? Like, what were people thinking in the 70s? Why were we obsessed with this? So I think that's always like instant cringe. I really like these older recipes that, like there's like ketchup pie and like weird stuff that I think were born out of necessity. And I think that that speaks a little bit to like the zeitgeist of the time. So,
Mm.
yeah, but definitely the Jello thing is weird.
Yep,
Mm.
yep. My grandparents-in-law brought pickled salad with its jello and pickles and walnuts, and it was a thing. It was,
No,
you know.
Did you
no.
eat
Why are
it?
you combining that?
Oh, we ate it and we were like, "Oh my gosh, thank you. This is so good." And she was like, so it'll be back next year, I'm sure.
Right now, you've just done yourself a disservice, right? Because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, every single year I'm going to have to eat this.
100%.
Sorry.
I got the leftovers as well. So there's that. Yeah, we love it.
Oh
Anything
boy.
Jello, lime Jello and pickles for the win.
Mm.
Yeah, delish. Now, I want to ask, what is the strangest thing you own?
Oh, so I live here in Washington, D.C., and I was like doing the tourist activity things when we first moved. So I bought a jar of moon dust, which from this Air and Space Museum, and I'm certain it's not moon dust, but I really like it because I think it speaks to like it's an aspirational moon dust. And so if you can call yourself moon dust, I can call myself whatever I want, right?
I
I
love that.
love that. Do we know for sure it's not moon dust, or is there a
I
chance it might be?
I would be hard pressed to believe that the Air and Space Museum is just out here selling moon dust for $7 a bottle, right? Like,
They just keep going up to the moon and just scraping some dust, just bringing it
right?
down.
It wouldn't
Can you
surprise
imagine?
me. It would not surprise me. All right, well, now
But
I
it's
want to
like,
know what
mhm,
is something
mhm.
you think about way too often? Is it the cookbooks or is it something entirely different?
It is definitely something different. You know, I think a lot about how narrative builds empathy. So, how fiction
Mm.
changes the way we see each other, how it changes the way we see the world. And I think that that gives so much power to what narrative does, right? Whether that form of narrative is in video or on paper, it's all about how it builds empathy and connection with humans.
Oh,
Mm.
yes, absolutely. And I think that's what's so beautiful about books and about this community is we're constantly learning about the world around us, about humans and all of our experiences. So yeah, I mean, books are just so powerful that way. And all media, really. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we're seeing an interesting shift here these days with, we're an industry built on paper in a very visual, video-minded world right now. So how do we continue to bring empathy to narrative and to bring in new readers, right? Like it's getting them when they're young to love the page versus loving the screen in so many ways.
Mm.
Mm.
Yes, I love that. I want to go back to your journey to being a literary agent. Like, how did you get there? Did you always want to be an agent? Like, tell us a little bit about the journey to that.
Sure. Yeah. I did not know I always wanted to be a literary agent. I always knew I wanted to be an author and to work with words. But what I really have always loved is being a connector. So, being a literary agent is that intersection between creativity and advocacy. I get to take a writer whose work is amazing and help them get to the next rung in the ladder. And there is nothing that beats the feeling of helping someone achieve that dream. I mean, it gives me goosebumps every time, my entire day. Like, this is really my job. I get to do this for my entire life. So championing great stories, helping writers navigate what can be a really daunting and very opaque industry. So when I landed on it, I sat with it for quite some time. And then I went to my agent and I said, "Hey, I've got this idea. It might be absolutely bananas and you have to tell me." And she said, "It's so weird you brought that to me because I was going to suggest that." And so that felt incredibly validating, right? Like, okay, it's not just me having this like very harebrained scheme idea. It's someone else has seen that I might excel in this kind of profession.
And even what you said earlier about writers becoming authors, that's kind of your passion, and that's like an area where I was actually curious when you said that. What do you think are some of the defining things that you feel make that the difference between the two titles?
Such a great question. So I think when we call ourselves writers, it's because we don't feel like we can show up in the space, like we haven't earned our space in the room. We might consider it a hobby or something that we do for fun or something we do when the kids are asleep and everything else is done. When we start to call ourselves authors, I think that's when we really take the business seriously. So being an author means 30% of your job is writing your narrative. 70% is building your community and supporting other authors. And so I think it's the level of intensity that we bring to it. And that's not to say like you can be a writer for your entire life and never want to take that next step to becoming an author. But once you start to call yourself author, I think it kind of adds a little bit more weight, a little bit more merit to all of the work that you're doing to put in to your story.
I'm obsessed with that answer, to be honest. I
Yes.
love that.
No,
Yeah,
honestly, I don't think I've ever even thought of it that way. Like when
Mm.
I was just like, you go from writer to author because now you're published. But no, it's business. That is
yeah.
genius.
Yeah, it really is business, right? I mean, it's the same thing as, if you decide to take up running, you're not going to call yourself a jogger until you run your first 5K, right? Like you're a runner. So why do we have to have these steps? Or why are we building ourselves down instead of building ourselves up? And it's already an industry that has, frankly, too many gates, right? We get here, now we get here, now we get here, and publishing is still so far away. So why not just like jump the line a little bit? If you're serious about doing this, if you want to be an author, then take the step to make that change. Stop calling
Mhm.
yourself a writer. Hmm.
Yeah, I find it not just I'm obsessed with this answer because it's actually very healing and very validating because I
Hmm.
think we start to feel that shift as you do it more and more. You start to feel the lack of time for writing that you had before, and you start to be doing all this like social media stuff and networking and that comes naturally, right, as you progress. And there's this little voice in your head that's like, I should be writing more though. I should be. But you're right. Like it is such a crucial part of being an author and like stepping into that space. So thank you for healing us with that statement,
Oh,
basically. I needed that.
absolutely. It is my pleasure to bring that to you and to your audience because it's true, right? Like um and we can all have our own opinions about social media, but that's what I'm talking about is when you decide to take it seriously, suddenly you can't say, "Oh, well, I don't like social media." Now it's your job. You kind of have to do it no matter what, right? You
Mm,
step into that role. And I think it allows for an intensity and a specificity that maybe we don't get when we're typing away at our keyboards at 5 a.m. for the 5 a.m. Writers Club or something, right?
mm.
Yeah, I mean, I had to go through that myself, right? And I think also, like with family, everyone's like, "Oh, what are you writing about? Where can I read your work? Are you in the bookstore?" And these are all very like wounding questions for someone who has not published, right? Like this, don't ask me that, right? So I think it allows us to take back some of that agency as well.
Yes, that's
Hmm.
brilliant. Yes. And I love that you mentioned like building the community, which a lot of times social media, if you're not going viral, you're not doing all these things. You're building a community via social media. You're finding your author friends and your community. So I just really love what you you said
Yeah.
there. And I just keep seeing Melanie like, yes, yes, yes.
We both
Is there
needed
any,
it.
yeah, right? It's true because you do we feel this kind of guilt
Yeah.
about like, oh, I need to just write, you
Yeah.
know, and I am doing all these things, but I just want to write. But really it's all goes part of the business as an author. So
Yeah.
yeah, hearing that is so freeing. Again, so thank you. Thank you for
Of
that.
course. Yeah. Yeah,
It,
for sure.
it,
It's symbiotic, right? Like it
yeah,
all like blends in together. Yeah.
it does. Is there any advice you give your clients like when they're, you know, after they're signing with you and they're kind of trying to figure things out? Like, do you have advice that you give them about this sort of like balance?
Mm.
Oh yeah, I talk about this all the time. I'm sure they're all very tired of me. Right?
Well,
Like
we're not.
they're
We're
like
ready.
okay, so well first I offer all of my authors social media training because I think we get in our own way as creatives. We it's hard to peel back layers sometimes. It's hard to be vulnerable. So I sit with my clients for about an hour and I ask them very, very deep questions about how do you want to show up? How do you want your readership to feel after they've interacted with you online to help position us away from, oh, I need to be another author who's providing craft tips to read to other writers, position away from that to my readers want to know about the behind the scenes, or my readers want to understand why I'm obsessed with time, or why I want to talk about family dynamics, right? So
Mhm.
that's the first point of it. And the second is to stop thinking about it like followers and start thinking about it like you're building a community.
Yeah.
Because when you take that, like I abhor the word so very much, right?
Yeah.
Like I am not out here to build followers. I want to build a community that I can go to, that I feel safe, that I can talk about, the vulnerabilities of being an author, the challenges of being an agent, what I have for breakfast. I don't know what it is that I'm talking about, but I want to be able to have that space and to show up and know that I'm being received in that way. So I spend a lot of time talking about that. And I think that that's a big shift. And then finally, I always, always, always encourage my clients to come from a place of attraction, not promotion,
Mm.
right? So when you
Mm.
magnetize the right kind of people to you, you are not promoting your affiliate link. You're not talking about your book. You're not talking about the course that you're selling or whatever it is. You are attracting them to you because you're being genuine, you're being authentic, you're showing up as your real self online. So the more that we can shift from promotion to attraction, the more the community ultimately will respond in kind. Like I know we all see those social media posts where immediately we know, oh, they're about to try to sell me something, or oh, here's another affiliate link. I don't like that. I'm sure a lot of people don't like that. So why do we keep like wash and repeat that process? Let's instead try something else where we feel very much like we are attracting, we're magnetizing, we're pulling the people in who want to be our readers. And so those are like my big three.
Mm. Once
Yeah.
again, your words are a balm to this soul and very much like sometimes you just need someone to come in and verbalize things that you felt. And I think,
Yes.
yeah, you're doing that in a very big magic. I feel like I'm reading Big Magic all over again because there's something about having someone succinctly verbalize things that you feel in your gut that's so powerful and so profound. So thank you for sharing all of that. I feel like that is the thing, right? And there's no point in trying to push it the other way, is what we all learn the hard way. Because if you try to do those writer tips, you burn out so quick if that's not your passion, right? Like if
Right.
it's you've whereas like it might be posting about a silly spicy book, not that I did that yesterday, and that's fun for some of us, and so then
Yeah.
that's your authenticity. And like you said, it magnetizes the right people to you and everyone's
Mhm.
happy.
Absolutely agree. And I think the other part of that is then it doesn't feel derivative, right?
Mm.
Because and early on in your career as an author, it is so easy to say, oh, I'm going to talk about craft because you're thinking about craft, you're in your story, right? But there are so many people talking about craft. Why are you trying to do the same thing that everyone else is doing? Instead, you are the only person who has had your lived experience. And that's what I want to know about as a reader of your next book, right? So I think it ultimately serves all of us very well. And then it takes some of the yuck away from the social media of it. Like, and then when I tell my clients, okay, actually, this is 70 part of your percent of your job is to build this community, they don't feel so put out by it. 'Cause they're
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. I'm showing up online. I'm hanging out with my friends. It's not networking, it's a cocktail party.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Thank
Yep.
you. This is so good. This is so good, honestly, and I feel really refreshed just hearing this because
Mm.
I am a week away from the launch of my second book, and I've just
Hmm.
been like, I've been having a lot of fun, honestly, online, but I remember m even months ago and like leading up to the launch of my first book, I was dragging my heels. Like I was just scraping by, just trying to like, here's my book, here's my book. And then when I finally like let go and just like, well, okay, whatever. Hey, everybody, I'm just gonna have fun doing this. And
Mm.
it
Yeah.
opened up so, so much. And this is a good reminder because I've been feeling that little drag this last week.
Hmm.
So this is like super motivating and just like, just be
No.
you.
Yeah, that's right. No one else can be you. And that's what your readers want ultimately, right? They want to understand why you are who you are and how that those experiences inform your work.
I love
Mm.
that. Thank you
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I think we've thanked you about 1,000 times. Listeners, take a shot every time we thank you. Okay, so I want to get into like what made you transition or want to transition from, just being a literary agent to starting your own literary agency.
Mm.
I have control issues.
That's honest. That's honest.
So fair.
Yeah, well, I thought about it long and hard, and even within the scope of literary agenting, there are so many gates. There is the unpaid internship, which does not work for my finances, right? Then there is the associate agenting, and this is a fine track for lots of people if you feel comfortable doing it. I knew that I wanted to do it. I've always been, an entrepreneur, so I understand how business works. I know how to build a business. And so it's really just like learning the agenting part of it. Um, and also, I thought, well, no one else is going to do it the way that I want it done. So I'm going to do it this way. I had this very unique vision for what I want Rosecliff to look like, what I want our agents to represent, what we're bringing to community, what we're giving back to community. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do it myself.
Mm. Well, I can
Hmm.
see that from you because you're a very like transparent, open person, and I can see how like maybe some of the yeah, like publishing isn't always that clear. So I think that no wonder. Because yeah, what you're feeling, what you're saying to me sounds very fresh, and it sounds like very healing in the way that we want this industry to be, right?
Right, right, absolutely. So, like, I learned early on in life that if I'm not finding my space, I just build my space, right? Like, if I cannot find my people, then I'm going to do something to magnetize my people to me. And publishing is hurting. We're crying on a lot of different levels for a lot of different reasons. So, if I can bring something that is fresh and new into a space that feels like almost designed for us to fail, like,
Mm.
then at least I'm bringing hope, I'm bringing joy, we know that we're not ever going to be beyond mid-list authors, probably. We're all probably just going to be mid-listers, and that's okay. That is also our industry, and there's a whole other conversation that we could have about that. Beyond that, I want to help authors. I'm a connector. Like I
Mm.
cannot now imagine like what I was doing the last 40 years of my life. Like, I mean, clearly like learning skills and stuff, right? But I feel
Mm.
very fortunate to have found this and to have come to it.
Yeah. Well, and I love
Hmm.
that you just want to help authors and help them connect to hopefully their editors and beyond.
Yes.
And we as authors like we need that. We need the
Yeah.
champions to help us, especially with so many writers, authors that are very introverted and needs a voice. Um,
Hmm.
and I sense that you are that voice, which we love, we need.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. I mean, I have like really frequent tap-ins with all of my clients so that I'm advocating for them in the way that they need. We correct, we change courses, we do what we can if they find something that they don't like. But the whole goal is to just get them out there so that they feel more comfortable getting themselves out there, right? Like if you don't have a role model doing this for you, how do you know how to mimic that behavior?
Yeah. Oh
Mm.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Well, I want to ask like what does a day in the life look like for you? Because I can only imagine you're busy.
Yes, very busy. Every day is a little bit different. I kind of like I have my overarching things I need to do in a week, but I sort of like letting my day dictate itself. So lots of my time is spent chatting with editors. So I take lots of editor meetings, just 10, 15 minutes. What are you looking for? What are you tired of seeing? What are you reading? What's your cat's name? It's like the important stuff.
Yeah.
And then queries, obviously, my slush pile's out of control. Working on reading client manuscripts. I mean, it's varies. I think those are the big events that take place. But I do a lot also with conferences and online pitch fests. So that takes up a significant portion of time, right? I'm building out courses, presentations that I'm going to give at conferences. So I'm still thinking about craft. It's just in like, how can I teach it to other people sort of way?
Mm.
Hmm.
Oh, I shouldn't be excited, but I am kind of excited to hear your answer for what is the hardest part. Just based on your other answers, I'm very intrigued about what the hardest part is for you in this wild, tumbling terrain of publishing.
The hardest part is rejecting a project when I've requested a full and I can see its merit and I understand where it could fit, but I know it's not right for me. Or I know that I don't have enough fire in my belly to champion the way it deserves to be championed. I hate those emails. I hate, hate, hate having to send it because then I feel like I'm duplicating this terrible experience that as authors we've all had, which is rejection. And so I try to be very kind and to be very warm as much as I can, but it's excruciating for sure.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
imagine. I mean, yeah, you're an author, you understand, like
Yeah.
it's that you're putting all this hope and,
Mm.
especially
Yes.
the fulls are rough. We've all experienced those
Well, but
rejections
I
that are
only
rough.
request a full. I only
Okay.
request a full. I don't faff around. It's like, why am I requesting 10 pages to be sent electronically? Like that is such a leftover from like 40 years ago when we did everything by mail. Like I always take the full because then if I love the first 50 pages, then I have to email you and say, can you send me the next? And I like
Yeah.
efficiency. I don't want to mess with that.
Mm.
So but and I feel like I'm crushing a dream. And so I always try to remind these authors that it is not you, it is me, right? Like this is on me. It is not a reflection of your work, of your merit, of your talent, of your standing as a human. We are
Hmm.
in a very subjective industry.
And I'm
Yes.
starting to feel like agents need to cut themselves some slack as well. Because talking back about the writer author example, if you want to call yourself an author over writer, you got to rack up those rejections as well, right? Like, even if
Yeah,
it's a good project, sometimes it's not the time or whatever. So I feel
yeah.
like it's a common answer from agents. And I'm like, it's okay. It's also those no's are part of our journeys.
It,
That's
it it is, but it doesn't take the sting away, right? Like
Mm.
because
yeah.
I still want to be friends with you. Like, can we still follow
Yeah.
each other online, right? Like,
Right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I love that though, because
Mm.
at the end of the day, this is a human industry,
Mm.
Exactly.
and we're all so interconnected in so many ways. So I love that idea of just like, can we still be friends? Like,
Right?
it's
Yeah.
not you, I
Yeah.
promise. It's
Well, it could be the
subjective.
Yes.
next one. I think
Yeah.
absolutely authors should still be friends and not be like turned off by rejections anyway, because it could be the next one or the one after. You just never know.
You really don't.
Absolutely. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's the same process repeated when we're on submission. The editor will be like, "Oh, I love this, but it's not for me," right? And so, but by that point, the author has become a little bit hardened to rejection, so the sting isn't as terrible. But I'm sure they feel the same way, right? We just repeat this over and over.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, and it's
Yeah.
like it's a sick cycle. It's you're constantly building a tougher skin because
Yeah.
you write the book, you get agented, you'll hear a lot of no's, and you go on submission, you'll hear a lot of no's. And then the book launches and you'll get bad reviews. And so like you're
Yes.
constantly
Mm.
getting a no or rejection in
Mhm.
some form. So all of these things are just kind of building your
Mhm.
your skin and it's just life in general anyways, and so it's just the way the world works, but we'll also have these beautiful yeses and amazing things, which I want to ask, like, what is the your favorite thing about doing what you do?
Mm.
So I think the stock answer is probably like calling an author to say we've got a deal. But if I really get vulnerable about it, it's calling an author and saying, I love this project and I love you as a human, and I think that I can get you where you want to be. That is truly my favorite is offering rep because
Mm.
this is as much a partnership as it is a business relationship, as it is a friendship, right? It needs to work on so many levels. For me at least. I'm sure every agent approaches this differently, but I need to like you. Right.
Mm.
Like, and I think that's a component to this that we don't really talk about often is like you need to like your agent needs to like you aside from your work. So when I find something, a project that's gorgeous with a beautiful voice, with high concept, great plot points, that's sellable, and I like the author, I'm like, this is the best day, right? And then to be able to offer rep and to talk about okay, where do you see your career in 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, and reverse engineer all of it. And to know that I'm doing my part to help this person who has had this dream then get out there in the world. Like goosebumps every time, every time.
Mhm. I I love this so much. And then the big question, are you open for queries right now?
Yes, yes. I am open for queries right now. And this season, we're doing something a little different. We're starting a new initiative where we're aligning our manuscript wish list with the seasons because the seasons have
Oh.
vibes, stories have vibes. So we'll be dropping really specific seasonal manuscript wish lists at like around equinox or solstice times, 4 times a year. So that's going to be coming soon, and I'm really excited about it because it kind of changes it up a little bit. It feels fresh, it feels fun, and that means that our slush pile is not like the same 4 types of stories, right? Like these are weird and different. And like that's our whole thing. It's just to be a little bit weird and a little bit different.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I
Thank
think
you.
that's so smart too, because like you said, like you kind of get tired and
Mm.
stagnant a little bit. So like why not switch it up a little? Like give us something for the season. I think that's freaking
Yes.
genius. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had way too much fun building out my Canva graphics last week. So, like, if I owe you an email, I'm sorry. That's what it was. Right? I was like, "Ooh, look at this! Look at this!" So, yeah, we're really, really excited about the initiative, and I think it's going to bring a lot of joy to querying authors as well, right? To know that, okay, in spring, think about what we might be looking for in spring. So there's some.
Yeah.
We're seasonally aligned, and I like to live seasonally anyway. So this just feels like a good fit.
Mm.
Heck yes. I think that's genius. Is there anything like for you specifically that you are hoping for, I guess, in the next season to come?
Yeah, so in winter, I'm really looking for middle-aged protagonists of any genre and be like, it doesn't matter. I just want I would like to see myself on a page, right? So I love that we've got new adult. I like that we've got Wednesday books. All of that is great. But right now for me, I would like some middle-aged protagonist. If you can send me a funny spy story that features a middle-aged protagonist, I'm gonna love it even more. So that's really like what I'm jonesing for a little bit. I think, I've been watching too much of The Diplomat, maybe, or Black Doves, right? Like, I'm feeling my spy era is coming on.
Mm. It sounds glorious to me.
Yes.
Well, back to the publishing side of things. Is there something that
Mhm.
surprised you about working in publishing?
So I love the fact that we are a women-driven industry, right? Over 80% of everyone in publishing is a woman. And I feel like that is really important, right, for us in this moment to have so many strong women leaders in the space. So I very much appreciate that. I
Mm.
guess I shouldn't be surprised by how slow everything is, but
Mm.
specifically, like over the last few weeks, I've noticed it really, really start to slow down. Um, but other than that, no, like it really feels like it's a repeat process from trying to get an agent. It's is trying to get an editor. Um, I do the research, I write the pitch. I feel like I'm like doing the same thing for my authors that I did, when I was querying myself. So,
Oh, yeah. No,
mhm.
you've got the experience, and so you're
Yeah.
right for the job. Like you've been through it.
Yeah.
You know what's going on.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And
Um,
I think we're going to continue to see changes. I think ultimately we're starting to get a blend or a blurring of the lines between influencer and author, and I think that that's really been spurned on by TikTok and bookstagrammers and things like that. So I think it can maybe end up being a challenge for us mid-listers to just who just want to write our books and do our 70% of social media time. But that remains to be seen, right? Like we'll see how the industry continues to adapt and to unfold. But books are having a moment, like having a serious moment, and I'm here for it for sure.
right? I saw that there a bunch of new Barnes and Noble are opening up around. the States. So,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
book talk, thank you.
Right. Yeah. Costco
Whatever.
agreeing to keep books in so many of their locations is huge because Costco is one of the number one sellers of books, which is surprising,
Interesting.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think we're seeing a lot of that, and that does have something to do with social media. So if we bring it all the way back to like how you show up and how you build your community and how you magnetize, all of it is important because that's what sells your books, right? Like
Hmm.
that's what sells your books because you're showing up. So yeah, sorry, I got way off topic there.
No,
No,
I love a side
speak.
quest. Side quests are
Okay.
my identity, to be honest.
Oh, I hear that. I hear that. Yes.
I love it. Do you have any advice for querying writers? I mean, I know
Mm,
it's never fun. So yeah, do you
mm.
have any goods for them? Any other
Yeah,
listeners?
so I think the most important thing there is to not feel like you have to query so many agents in whatever amount of time frame. Like goals are great, but doing your research to find an agent who you feel will be a good fit is going to ultimately serve you far more than looking us up on, Query Checker and sending the same email to 50 different people. That's not going to help at all. I
Mhm.
can't tell you how much it makes me just so chuffed when a querying author references something I've talked about online or something specific that they've heard, me say in conference or presentation, because it feels then it's like they're paying attention. So doing your research, understanding who you're querying is so, so key. Beyond that, giving yourself some grace, right? It's so often it is not you, it is not your project, it is not your ability to write, your capacity to tell story. So often it is me and it is my fellow agents. And we're saying no to the project, not no to you as a person. And so allowing yourself to understand that and to really internalize it, to take that home with you is going to help you. It'll serve you for your whole entire career.
Mm, yes. I
Mhm.
love all of that. Well, I see like we're down to the last 5 minutes. I want to ask
Yeah.
our favorite question, which is looking
Oh,
back, what advice would you give a younger version of yourself before starting out on this journey to where you are now?
yeah. So life, like a lot of us, has been circuitous, right? It's definitely meandered around for a while. I think the biggest piece of advice would be to allow myself to show up more authentically earlier on. I
Mm.
think we're taught to fit into boxes, and if we don't fit into boxes, we're not sure how to fit or where to be or even what a box is. And so, like, I grew up really nerdy, like, we didn't have TV, right? And so, like, it was a challenge for me to show up authentically. And now, like, everyone loves nerds because we know all kinds of facts about all kinds of things. But
It's
early
true.
on, it's really, right? Yeah, like, I can talk to you about some very random stuff. Um, but early on, that makes it really difficult to find your space and to find your voice. And I think without voice, you can't show up. And so then, like, if I look back at like my work from 20 years ago, it is so cringe because I'm trying to fit into a box that is not me. Like,
Mm.
this is me. And so, obviously so much of that comes with maturation, but
Mm,
just allowing yourself to be like who you are is the most important thing, no matter what age, what era you're in. And I think that rings true for any artist journey. Even if you're, in your 40s right now and you're sitting down to write your first novel, like don't chase trends, don't try to write romantasy. Please don't write romantasy. Please. Like we're done with romantasy already. But just write what's in your heart and be true to yourself because that's going to move you forward.
mm. And
Yep.
it's valuable advice, not just as like a writer or an artist, but I think just in life in general. And like
Yeah.
they tell you when you're a kid, just be yourself, but they don't mean it. They
No.
mean be this filtered version that we
Yep.
oppress onto you through all our expectations. But it
Yep.
truly is that because, like you said earlier, then you magnetize to you like what really feels good anyway, and it's just a more joyful way to live instead
It
of
absolutely is. Yes, yes. And I think then it makes your art feel different. It makes it read
Mm,
differently on the page and it connects you with a deeper sense of like your core essence, right?
mm.
Like and frankly, it gets tiresome after a while trying to fit into a shape that is not yours. So if you're loud and boisterous and someone's trying to tell you to be quiet and soft, maybe they're not your person, right? Like, and that kind of comes back to like doing your research for an agent is like, I know I'm not for everyone. My personality type is not for everyone. I am so type A about all kinds of stuff, and I'm very high energy. Um, so I respect the fact that I'm not going to work well. If you query me based on whatever, and you're like, oh, I don't like that you're type A. Well, guess what, guy? Like, sorry, like we're 4 decades in, we're not changing at this point, right?
I love
Yeah, honestly, this whole episode has just been like writer church. It's been perfect because it's just such a great reminder that truly, like, the real magic comes when you just be yourself and you just let
Mhm,
go.
it.
mhm.
And even in social media, in books, in all aspects of your life. And so thank you for giving us that reminder here, all of us
Yes.
in our 30s and 40s and beyond. Like, I think we all need this reminder still of just
Yeah.
like, just be you. And that's
Yeah.
beautiful in and of itself. So thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely. That I harp on that all the time. Even to myself, my internal monologue is like, okay, you can wear the brooch. No one's going to judge you for it. And I'm like, I'm a brooch person. I have
I love the
a
brooch.
massive collection. Thank you. Right. So it's like, just be you, because why do I need to show up as anyone else? And,
Yes.
and just be you on the page, just be you on the screen, just be you in conversation. It will serve
Period.
you so much better. Yeah.
One of
Period. It's funny. The
yeah,
brooch was the first thing I noticed.
yeah,
So yes. Thank you for wearing it. I know our time is literally, we're going to get cut
Yes.
off at any second. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining us and just being
My
amazing and
pleasure.
reminding us that we're amazing too. So thank you.
That's right. I mean, this is my life work right here is to remind you that you are amazing. Every single one of you.
Love
I love that
it.
so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing your big energy with us. We're gonna let you go
Yes,
and enjoy the rest of your night. And yeah,
absolutely. All
I
right. Well,
should.
I
Yeah.
really appreciated this. This was so much
This is
fun.
great. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Talk soon.
Yes.
Bye.